Hello and welcome to Crossing the Line, a podcast about pushing the boundaries, about daily opinions, and seeing how far people can take a joke. I am Z.
And I'm D.
And if you are still here, apparently you are strong enough to take care of your own feelings.
And our episode for today is how this podcast all got started. So I don't know if you want to start off, Z, or if you want me to start off on how the story kind of unfolds.
Take it away.
So one day, of course, Z and I met at work. I've been there for a couple summers. Z just started, what was it, last year? I met you last summer?
I believe so,
Would
yep.
you say?
That's when I was on third shift, yep.
And so we were just sitting in our normal break area and, of course, making jokes, looking at TikToks, just kind of like going back and forth, kind of fueling each other's fire. And so all of a sudden, I'm just sitting there listening to like all our coworkers around us laughing and being like, man, this would be some great content. And kind of that got the ball rolling for this podcast. And we kind of took it more seriously and was like, this could be a thing. This could have some great quality to it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I remember the people laughing and people were agreeing with, yes, you guys should do something like this. I'd listen to this. And it's like, but we could do it here live. And, you know, it's like, but again, though, it's to save the memories because it's a lot of fun. I mean, you're not wrong. When it comes to doing some of the jokes we go over, man, they are work appropriate. So anyone from work listening, yes, this is work appropriate jokes. And that, you know, just so be aware. D here doesn't do them well, but you know, okay, but
I'm usually on the end of all the jokes.
You're not wrong.
For those of you who are here and listening, I'm definitely the one who gets picked on. I mean, I handle it well. I feel like everybody else knows that they can pretty much say anything, and as much as I can swear at them, I'll just laugh it off anyway.
Yeah, because of course, like we all know that if the joke does cross the line, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we know that the joke is done, and then that's it. It may come up later on in the future as a little minor joke type of deal, but it won't be like the main joke. Because like I said, obviously, you know, main part of this was we have so many like ongoing inside jokes that people keep not introducing, but they keep starting to become part of them. And before it was like 1, 2, 3 people. Now it's like, what? Almost half of our shift are in this jokes now.
Oh, yeah. And they'll definitely talk about it. I know I've talked to some people in the back that I don't know if you rarely see, and I've talked about kind of stuff going on. They're like, man, you really got to let me know when this podcast comes out because we'd really enjoy listening to it. Because it's just one of those things. Everybody gets involved in the joke at some point, especially being on a small third shift crew and not having 100 people in the factory all at once.
Correct. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. So what's some of the things that we wanted to go over with this episode today? I know we talked about the how it started. So what was the next topic? It was using the letters for our names, correct?
Yes.
All right, if you want to take that way, or do you want me to?
I can kind of touch on it, and you can interject if you have anything to say.
Sounds good.
So, if you kind of heard at the beginning, I'm D, and of course, my co-host here is Z. It's kind of just a way of work-related things might get brought up in the podcast, just because, let's just admit it, they were probably funny. Especially half the time when the joke's about me. So it usually happens at work anyway. And to not offend anybody or make it known of who this person is, we just thought having a lettering system and just letterings would just make it more anonymity, I guess, and just making sure no one's feelings get hurt and nothing, again, crosses the line for anybody, and no one really knows the story, who is actually in the story that we're saying.
That is correct. Now I got to jump back a little bit here. We're going to do a little jab at some of the listeners here. So you used a really big word, anemones from Finding Nemo. Do you want to dumb that down to maybe, not me, because I definitely understand it, but someone else may understand as what you meant by that?
Oh yeah. So anonymity is kind of just keeping everybody's personal life kind of personal, like um confidential in a way, I guess, is a better word to use for those of you who may not know the big long term. But yeah, confidential is a great word. Just so people's feelings don't get hurt. I know even like some of the stories I have, especially for some of our episodes on the stories we have, I mean, man, if you probably knew me as a person, you'd get it a lot, but it's
You
just one of those
know.
things kind of keeping stuff private, especially if like some people don't necessarily want their name being out in the podcast of, and especially if they're involved into the story or add to the story.
Yep. Because as time goes on as well, we will be having guests. We're going to have them join us and that they'll be able to sit in and talk to us, share some stories or whatever topic that episode is about. So like, for example, this episode is called Introduction or Introducing Ourselves. And the next episode is about our amazing D over here. You can take that any way you want. Next episode will be called Tippy Toes, and that's gonna be more directed onto D over there. I know we'll have a scheduling type of deal where every Wednesday a podcast will be dropped. We are gonna try to do multiple recordings a weekend so we can have multiple episodes. That way we can plan longer, have more time, and be better prepared. Obviously, this is our first episode. This is my first ever doing a podcast. I do stream, but this is my first ever doing a podcast. I don't know about D, though.
It's definitely my first time. I mean, I've been in public speaking situations, been told I'm really good at it, but definitely terrified, let me tell you.
I think we
So
can
this
all
is
agree.
definitely something new and something we're gonna try out, see how it goes.
Yep. And hopefully you will all join us on this adventure and have fun along with us. This episode won't be as long as the others that are going to come. Obviously, this is just more of an introduction, and I really can't think of more that we can talk about ourselves or about the episode, and really kind of get more, because like I said, we want to keep our personal privacy kept close, or kept kind of obviously private to a point. And yeah, so I guess maybe we'll call the episode here, do the next part or however we want to go. It's gonna be a lot better and later on, folks. Trust me, it's gonna sound a hell of a lot better.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely being our first time, you gotta give us a little bit of leniency here and kind of understand we're still working through the process of how this is all gonna work out and who we want to invite, who's all gonna be here. We do have some great people in mind. Definitely will bring some great content and great stories, I'm betting, especially since I probably know some of them. But yeah, as for our episodes, just a little put in there, we will not be posting them between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m.
That
because
is a
that is
good
when we
thing.
are working.
I don't know what you're talking about. That is a smart thing to say, actually. Yes, between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., there will be no episodes posted, but they will be posted later on Wednesday, around probably early in the morning. We are definitely welcome to feedback. We are definitely welcome to hearing what you would like to hear. Give us topics, give us ideas, advice, anything. Like I said, and we'll take it all into consideration. If anything goes wrong with the podcast, you can blame D. I will warn that right away in advance. Yeah, I know, like I said, we're planning on two episodes this weekend, and then going from there, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
We do have 5 in total, that we kind of got the topics picked out for, but for sure at least 2, maybe 1 or 2, depending on if we can get some other people that are free.
Yep.
Because, we all don't have the third shift schedule.
Correct. And especially like we were mentioning before about the guest, hopefully we will find a third partner, or a third co-host, as you would like to call it, or we call her, however the hell the business calls it. We're looking to get a third. We did originally have 3 planned, but last minute one of them did change their mind, which is perfectly fine. We get it. So we are going to look for guests as time goes on, and hopefully we can find that third permanent co-host to sit alongside us, go through stuff. That way we'll have more content to go off of each other, and it's not just a one-on-one type of deal. But hey, who knows? Even if it works where it's one-on-one, it could be the same way as well, but who knows? So yeah, I have nothing really else to say on this episode. If you want to lead us towards the next one, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I hope you guys are looking forward to some of the stuff we are going to be doing and talking about. I know Z kind of touched on a little bit of what our next episode is going to be about. And of course, I'm going to be the one that's at the end of this joke because somehow, but I have no clue how, it started and it took off, and everybody at work finds it hilarious, even though half the time I'm just sitting there like, really, guys, really? But, you gotta have some fun every now and then.
Yes, yes, you do. You got to enjoy life and all that stuff. But yeah, so the next episode is going to be called The Story of Tippy Toes. It's all about D. And without further ado, I want to say thank you all for listening today and joining us on our first start of this adventure. And hopefully we'll have many, many more to come. And like always, we'll see or hear you in the next one. Have a good one.
And finally, before we end this, our last question, or first last question for you of this podcast.
Shit, I forgot.
Of course you did. But for our listeners out there, how would you feel if you had the nickname Tippy Toes?
I would love to hear these answers.
Oh, yeah. If you definitely have a way to comment, or if there's a way to comment, definitely put your thoughts in there, because we would definitely like to hear that before we kind of give our own take on it, or at least see it after, I guess, because we are going to be recording it here.
Yes. Like I said, I'm going to enjoy hearing it and that stuff and seeing what they all have to say. So, yeah, but definitely, again, thank you all so much again. And we'll be hearing you, or you'll be hearing us in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.